Why children don't see it happening. One of the most painful and confusing aspects of parental alienation is not only the distance that forms, but the question that follows. How could my child not see what was happening? For many parents, this question carries deep heartbreak because it is layered with disbelief, with grief, and sometimes with a quiet sense of betrayal. You may look back at the years of subtle tension, shifting narratives, emotional withdrawal, or relational interference, and wonder how something that now feels so clear could have been so invisible to your child. But understanding this requires something very difficult. We must look at childhood not through an adult lens, but through the emotional reality of being a child. Children do not experience family dynamics as neutral observers. They experience them as participants, dependents, adapters. A child's primary psychological task is not analysis. It is survival through attachment, belonging, safety, connection, stability. Children are wired to preserve attachment to their caregivers, even when the environment is confusing, even when dynamics are imbalanced, even when narratives are distorted, because questioning the emotional structure of the household can feel like questioning safety itself. Children are not equipped with adult cognitive frameworks like, this is manipulation, this is narrative shaping, this is psychological influence. Instead, they interpret experiences through emotional cues. Who is upset? Who is calm? Who withdraws? Who approves? Who creates tension? Who restores harmony? Over time, children become exquisitely attuned to emotional climate. They learn, often without words, what maintains stability and what disrupts it. If warmth follows alignment with one perspective, and discomfort follows connection with another. The nervous system learns quickly, not through logic, through adaptation. Another important reality is this. Children trust their environment to define reality. They trust the adults around them, they trust repeated narratives, they trust emotional consistency, especially when those narratives are reinforced by authority figures they depend on. If a child repeatedly hears subtle distortions, reframing, implication, or selective storytelling, they do not automatically challenge it, because children are not adversarial truth seekers. They are attachment-preserving learners. Even when something feels off, even when there is internal confusion, cognitive dissonance is deeply uncomfortable for a child, and the mind often resolves discomfort not by rejecting the dominant narrative, but by adjusting perception, because it is psychologically safer. Loyalty conflicts also play a profound role. Children often feel, even if never explicitly told, that loving one parent may hurt another, that questioning a narrative may create tension, that neutrality may feel like betrayal to someone. And children, deeply dependent on relational safety, will often choose the path that reduces emotional threat, not consciously, not strategically, instinctively. There is also the developmental limitation of perspective. Children cannot see the full system. They cannot understand adult motives. They cannot detect subtle psychological influence with mature clarity. They live inside the experience, without the distance needed to evaluate it. It's like being inside a fog. You don't see the shape of the fog while you're standing in it. Only later, sometimes years later, does the larger picture become visible. Even memory itself is shaped by this process. Memory is not a perfect recording. It is reconstructive, influenced by emotion, repetition, narrative framing, later interpretation. If a child grows up hearing a particular version of events, their memory may gradually reorganize around that version. Not because they are dishonest, but because perception shapes recall. Perhaps one of the most painful truths for parents is recognizing that children can be deeply influenced, without ever realizing influence occurred. Because subtle alienation rarely feels like programming. It feels like reality. There is rarely a moment where a child thinks, I am being manipulated. Instead, they may feel, this makes sense. This feels true. This matches what I've been told. Especially when reinforced by the emotional authority of the household. Children also lack comparative context. They do not have two fully equal vantage points. They do not see behind the scenes. They do not witness private distortions or omissions. They experience only what is presented within their environment. And environments are powerful shapers of belief. From the parent's perspective, this invisibility can feel devastating, because what feels obvious in hindsight feels incomprehensible when filtered through grief. How could they not see? Why didn't they question this? Why didn't they ask me? But these questions assume adult capacities, adult autonomy, adult psychological independence, and children are none of those things. They are developing beings whose survival depends on relational alignment. Understanding this does not erase the heartbreak, but it softens one of the most corrosive interpretations parents carry. My child didn't see it, therefore, it must not have been real. But invisibility is not evidence of non-existence. It is often evidence of developmental vulnerability, of psychological adaptation, of emotional survival strategies. Children are not failing to see, they are surviving what they cannot yet understand. And sometimes adulthood brings clarity. Sometimes it does not. But a parent's healing cannot depend entirely on whether recognition arrives. Healing begins when parents release the belief, if my child didn't see it, my pain must be invalid, and replace it with, children experience influence differently than adults, because compassion for the child's limitations does not require invalidating the parent's reality. Both can be true. The alienation was real, and the child did not see it, not from malice, but from the profound vulnerability of being a child inside a complex emotional system. And sometimes this understanding becomes one of the gentlest doorways into healing. If this reflects your experience, if you've wrestled with the painful question of how your child could not see what now feels so clear, please know you are not alone in this confusion or grief. If this video brought clarity or comfort, you're welcome to like and subscribe to Depth of the Quiet. You can listen quietly whenever your thoughts feel heavy, and return anytime you need a calm, understanding voice. If you feel safe sharing, you're always welcome to leave a comment below. No pressure, just support. At your pace, you are always welcome here.